If you don't want to look like the dude that you're currently seeing on the screen, then keep watching this video because look, I want the best for y'all. I want y'all to go out and live amazing lives. I want you to have amazing physiques. I want you to have amazing confidence. But you might not understand that your form is one thing that is holding you back from having this dream life. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you the exact form that you need to start using so that you can actually see progress and actually live the life you want. Now, real quick, this is me back when I used to do a lot of ego lifting. You know, I would squat 315 for reps. I would bench 225 for reps. But my form was just quite simply awful. So I wasn't actually seeing any real results. And this is me when I just started using proper form. I might have had to lower the weight a little bit. My bench might have gone down to like, I don't know, 275. My squat might have only gone to like 365. But I got way stronger, had way better form, and looked way better and felt way better. So first in this video, we're gonna talk about why form matters. Then we're gonna talk about how to actually have proper form, the type of form you should use. And then we're gonna talk about what's gonna happen if you don't start using proper form. What this says right here is base. Essentially what form gives you is a proper base. Understand, you need to look at your fitness as almost like a pyramid that you build. So first, you gotta set the base though. If you don't have a strong base, you're never gonna get anywhere. You're never gonna be able to build to the top. You're never gonna be able to have that peak top 1% physique. So think of it like this. If you start squatting and you have knocked knees, and every time you squat, you know, your knees are knocking, well, here's what's gonna happen. Eventually, you're gonna, you know, add more weight because eventually you'll get comfortable using that form. But what's gonna happen is it's not the proper form, so you won't be able to progress it properly. So you throw 300 pounds on your back, even just 200 pounds on your back, now you try to do it, you're not gonna be able to get the weight up properly. You're also gonna hurt yourself. Not to mention, your body's just gonna develop terribly. So understand, what form does is it lays a proper base that you can progress. When you learn how to bench properly do a pull-up with retracted scapula, properly do a push-up and all that good stuff, then from there you can build up. Then you can start doing one-arm push-ups. You can start doing handstand push-ups. You can start throwing more weight on your bench. You can start throwing more weight on your squat. But it all starts with just having good form and mastering the movement, mastering the exercise first. Number two is about development. Understand, if you're doing improper form, your body's just not gonna develop properly. So even if you do somehow manage to move a weight with improper form, but you do it with bad technique, like think of it like this. This is the best way that my coach actually showed me. It's like, imagine you're doing shrugs. You're doing shrugs like this, like this, like this, like this all the time. Eventually, your body's just gonna grow into that. And sure, you might have some big traps, but you're gonna look like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. You're gonna look like an idiot. So instead, you gotta roll the scaps back, do the trap raises like this, and now you look like a mean dude that's got some crazy traps, looks bigger, whatever. So essentially, your body develops however you train it. So if you're training like, I don't know, if you're like benching and you're going like this or like that, that's how your body's gonna develop. It's gonna get bigger, like, you know, your right peg is gonna get bigger than your left peg. It's just gonna look weird. You're gonna have improper development. But if you know, bench properly like this, everything's gonna develop normally. If you do your raises correctly like this, everything's gonna develop normally. So understand, if you don't start using proper form, you're not gonna develop properly. And also, just look at people that do stuff with improper form. They look like idiots, okay? If you've ever seen someone Naruto run like this, or if you've ever seen someone squat with knocked knees in the gym or like go down 2 inches, it's like, dog, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. You're looking like a fool. You're just wasting your time. And remember, time is the most precious resource you got. You can change your whole life if you use your time correctly. So don't waste your time. Actually get the most out of what you're doing. So now we're gonna get into a bit of the how. So the first how is the scapula. Okay, so essentially with every movement you do, you just want to retract the scapula. So real quick, I'm gonna demonstrate for you. Essentially, all that means is that you're gonna bring your shoulders up, you're gonna bring your shoulders back, and then you're gonna bring them down. And this is all retracting the scapula is. It's just engaging your scapula, engaging your back. Here's a proper demonstration. You're gonna bring your shoulders up, bring them back down, and boom. Now your scapula is set. Now you got good form, and you know you're standing up straight, good posture, all that. Number two, breathing. So breathing is pretty easy, to be honest. It's just when you're doing a movement, just sync your breath accordingly. Like, let's say you're bench pressing, bring this down and breathe in at the same time. So, and then breathe out on the way out. And essentially all that does is it just syncs your breath with the movement. So you're just way stronger, essentially. So if you're squatting, as you're going down, breathe in, you know, and then breathe out as you go up with the weight. And when you breathe in, here's the key. The key is you want to breathe into your stomach, meaning you want to your stomach should fill up, and then you don't want to do that. You want to, so you breathe into your stomach. And number 3 about mastering your form is just control. Like, don't ego lift. Look, if you need to regress the weight, if you need to go down in weight to do it with proper form, then do that. Don't like, if you're benching and you gotta freaking you gotta do all that just to get the bench up, dog, you did not hit that rep. Do not do that again either. You might die. Like, seriously, if you doing that with 300 pounds, you might die. You drop that joint on your face, you're done, kaput. So just don't ego lift, control the weight, because also, like I said, your body will actually develop properly. You'll have a stronger base too, so that way, once you learn to master that weight, once you learn to master the movement at that weight, then when you move up in weight, you'll actually be mastering that instead of just, you'll be cheating if you don't do it properly. So yeah, just don't ego lift. Make sure your breathing is right, breathe in and breathe out properly with the movement, and retract your scapula. And if you do that on every movement, you'll be good. Simple as that. Retract your scapula when you do pull-ups. Retract your scapula when you're about to squat. Retract your scapula when you're doing benching. And then don't forget, just breathe properly. Like that. Simple as that. And then just control the weight. Actually control the weight. Don't let the weight control you. You control the weight. That shit just weight. You should be throwing that bitch around. Essentially, we already went over a couple of consequences, but I'm gonna just remind y'all. So it's consequence number 1, just bad development. If you benching like this, you're gonna get big like that, and you're gonna look like a weirdo. If you're doing shrugs like this, you're gonna, have terrible traps that growing like this. So don't do that. Remember, do the movement properly, and you'll develop properly. That's why you got a lot of people out here, freaking freakazoid, Hunchback of Notre Dame, just zombie Frankenstein physiques, because they're not doing the movement correctly. You look in the gym, niggas is like just trying to throw in as much weight as possible without focusing on form, bro. It's about the motion in the ocean. Don't forget that. Because if you got the motion in the ocean, you can make a divine potion. Did that make sense? Number 2 is that you're gonna have poor results. You're not gonna be able to progress properly. You're not gonna be able to lift more weight because your form is holding you back. Like, understand, your body, most likely, it's not gonna let you move more weight without causing injury to yourself. So essentially what'll happen is you'll be squatting with like knock knees or something, and you get to 185, let's say you can do that, but then you get to 200, your body's just not gonna be able to lift it because the form just isn't there to be able to lift the weight. Like, you're in such a weak position, you're unable to lift the weight. So your body's not even gonna let you develop. You're gonna get poor results, you're not gonna get strong, you're also gonna develop weirdly. And number 3, injuries, man. Like, come on, we're in this for the long haul. Like, don't sacrifice today. Understand, if you're a teenager or you're a young dude lifting, like, understand, you got a good like 5 to 10 years before you actually reach your like genetic peak, where you're like at your strongest potential. So don't sacrifice today by trying to, use poor form and ego lift just because you want to get big as fast as possible. Like, bro, trust me when I say, if you end up hitting that weight, whatever the weight is, I don't care what the weight is. If you hit that weight and you do it with poor form, for one, you're not gonna grow at all because it takes like weeks to see growth from that. Number 2, you're gonna develop poorly. Number 3, you're gonna have poor results and you might even get injured. So just don't do that, because what stalls a lot of people's progress is injury. When you get injured, essentially what happens is you delay getting to your goal. Let's say you get injured while benching or something, you fuck up your shoulder. That's gonna delay your results by like 6 months, because first you gotta rehab the shoulder, that takes a couple months. Then you gotta build your strength back up, that takes like a month or 2. And then you can get back to where you were just to move past that. So don't risk that. Just have proper form. Anyways, with all that being said, I am the one Sule. Don't forget to check out all my channels right there. Don't forget to check out the school community, where I teach you about training, fitness. I teach you about diet and recovery and all my different programs in there. So check that out. Top link in the bio. And also don't forget to check out my last video that I made about how to use calisthenics to gain muscle. With all that being said, I really do appreciate you. Stay up and stay blessed. Dooski.